Today we are looking at the interior of this 2025 Acura MDX Advance. So let's go ahead and dive into all the changes Acura made to the technology and the luxury. For $68,000, there is a lot that you get for your money. This espresso color on the inside is by far my favorite out of the MDX lineup. The door panel is mostly the same with brown leatherette, soft-touch plastic on the upper part, and metal speaker grille, new open pour wood trim, memory seating for 3, all of your switchgear in the normal position, and a ton of storage at the bottom. You cannot, however, fit a large water bottle in the door pocket. These espresso brown leather seats finished in premium Milano leather are absolutely gorgeous and super comfortable. You now get quilting through the center area, black piping and contrast stitching, heating, ventilation, 16 ways of power adjusting, and new massaging. Yes, you heard me right, you can now get massaging on the standard MDX as long as you get the A-Spec Advance or the Advanced models. You don't need to upgrade to the $75,000 Type S model just to get it. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the features this MDX has to offer. Starting with the steering wheel, it's going to be very nice leather wrapped and heated. You're also going to find plastic paddles on the back, but they will be aluminum on the A-Spec, A-Spec Advance, and the Type S models. It is also going to be power adjusting, and overall it feels very nice in the hand, and the buttons are very easy to figure out. The gauge cluster looks quite nice. There is a little car in the middle, so if you ever wondered what other people are seeing, you will not have to wonder anymore. This car actually reflects what is going on the outside of the car, so if I put my brake lights on, the brake lights on the little car are going to show up. Same with the headlights and the turn signal. In addition to having that little party trick of the car in the middle, there is also a good amount of customization. When you switch the drive modes, the gauge cluster is also going to switch. And when you go into settings, you can go to gauge layouts, and then you can choose between two different designs. I personally prefer Advanced because this is the MDX Advance. Materials in this car are going to be top notch. The dashboard is finished in stitched leatherette. You get new open pour wood trim for 2025, a lot of gloss black, and you also have some leatherette padding to rest your knee against. There's some more gloss black through here, and you also have some matte black plastic on the center console.
And
moving on to storage, this is actually going to be slightly improved for 2025. There is no more touchpad, so that means you have a larger area to store something like a key fob. The wireless charger is going to be a little bit bigger. You also get 2 cup holders, and then you have a 2-tier center console. So this is the first tier. You can store some pens or some cash in there. And then you also have a lower tier, and that is for larger items, and you also get 2 USB-C ports. There are more USB ports right here, and I like that they are nicely hidden. Moving on to the climate controls, I am very happy to say that Acura kept physical buttons and toggles for your climates. To adjust the temperature, you have these very high quality toggles, and they feel very nice. The rest of the buttons are going to be in gloss black, so you can adjust the fan speed, the mode, and you can also adjust the rear settings. The seats are going to have heating and ventilation, and you can also turn on auto, so the car is automatically going to adjust them based on the temperature from outside. There is a new button, however, because the MDX Advance now has power massage. This was previously only offered on the MDX Type S Advance, but this is now offered on the Advance and the A-Spec Advance. This is very nice because now you don't have to step up to the performance model to get this luxurious feature. Acura added this in 2022, and it is still absolutely amazing. You get about 8 different modes, and they really get in there. Of course, you can also adjust the intensity if you want to. It is very easy to operate this massage. You're just gonna hold the button to bring up the menu. The biggest change to the MDX has to be the new touchscreen. This is now a Google-based system, so you get Google apps like Google Assistant, Google Maps, and the Google Play Store. This works super well, and I have to say this is probably the best in the segment. It's very responsive, it supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it's very easy to use. Yes, it does look tacked on, but I feel like it's going to be just fine considering how good this system works. Of course, you get built-in navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a Wi-Fi hotspot, and you have a lot of vehicle settings. There is also a new 19-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system that replaced the 16-speaker ELS Studio 3D sound system. I don't really hear much of a difference, but it is absolutely amazing, and you can even get a 31 speaker sound system on the Type S Advance. I feel like Acura did a very nice job of updating the system, and I feel like it is still familiar, but it's still better. Overall, I feel like Acura did a fantastic job with this new infotainment system. It is still familiar, but the Google built-in was definitely the right choice. Now let's move on to the shifter and the cameras. This is the same exact shifter as the 2024 MDX, so you just push for drive, push again for sport. You also have neutral, reverse, and park. There is a button at the end of the stock, so that's going to bring up your forward-facing camera and a wheel shot so that you don't curve these beautiful 20-inch alloy wheels. When you go into reverse, that will bring up a very high-resolution backup camera, and you do get multiple different views and active trajectory. The parking sensors also work quite well. When you pull up to an object like this tripod, it's going to alert you right there and on the gauge cluster. It's also going to get louder and faster as you approach the object. I would like for there to be an auto camera that would automatically turn on under speeds of 5 miles per hour like Toyota and Lexus are doing, but I feel like this is going to be just fine. It's very easy to use and very easy to access. You just push the button and you have the camera up. Up top, there's going to be a standard rear view mirror, and you also have this large panoramic sunroof. Now let's take a look at the passenger side and see what it's like in the MDX Advance. The door panel is quite nice. You get a good amount of storage at the bottom, a lot of leatherettes, open portalwood trim, a metal speaker grille, and of course, memory seating for 3. The seats carry over from the driver's side, so they're going to be super comfortable, and they will have heating, ventilation, massage, and 16-way power adjusting. In front of you is going to be a lot of gloss black, some leatherettes, and open portalwood trim, and of course you can rest your knee against this brown leatherettes. In the glove box, it's going to be felt lined, and there is a good amount of space, and of course I cannot forget about the power outlets on the side. Overall, the passenger side is a very nice place to spend time, especially with those seats. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the rear. Taking a look at the door panel, you get less doors on the front, but you get leatherettes, open portalwood trim, sunshades, and a metal speaker grille. The seats may not have all of the goodies from the front, but they are still super comfortable. They will be quilted, and you get black piping and contrast stitching. They also have heating, and they can manually slide and recline. In the back of the MDX, I have plenty of legroom behind the seat that is slid almost all the way back. There is also a seat back pocket, and the seat back is going to be in plastic so that it's a little bit easier to clean. You're going to find your third zone of climate control as well as your heated seat controls in this giant pool of gloss black, which may not be so good for the second row because the kids are most definitely going to get this scratched up. There will be 2 vents underneath that, as well as 2 USB-C ports and a power outlet. However, Acura is no longer including a household-style outlet on any MDX models. For 2025, the MDX still has the special middle seats. You can fold it down for 2 cup holders in a storage area, but you can't completely remove it to give you the full captain chair experience. It will also give you better access to the third row. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get right into the third row. Access into the third row with the middle seat in place is going to be super easy because you just push that button. As you can see, the legroom is not fantastic in the third row, but kids should be just fine. As far as amenities are concerned, you get a plastic armrest, a cup holder, and a USB port, but there are still no vents for the third row. The cargo area is also super important in the largest Acura SUV, so let's go ahead and get right into it. There is hands-free access on the MDX Advance, but for now I'm just going to use the key fob. Behind the third row, you're going to find 16.3 cubic feet of space. That is not going to be class-leading, but that should be plenty. There's also a cubby as well as a tow hook and a power outlet. Behind the second row, you're going to find 39.3 cubic feet of space, and as a maximum, you're going to find 71 cubic feet. Now, the MDX really shines when it comes to underfloor storage. You can lift this up, and as you can see, there is a lot of space, and you can actually take the lid and put it at the bottom in case you have something a little bit taller and you don't want to impede on your visibility. You can also flip it around for a plastic surface so that it is a little bit easier to clean if you go to the beach.